Yeah, there's so many ethical problems in tech, as we all know. Anytime there's an innovation, an interruption, or a disruption, there's ethical issues in the fallout. We've seen this multiple times in history, and we're in that corrective arc now. And we're thinking about the ways to correct it. And the most important thing for us is that we don't make the cure worse than the poison, right? Because sometimes the things that we administer to solve ethical problems create the exact opposite of its stated intent. So, for example, you might want to regulate so that people don't become anti competitive in their practices, but the regulations actually end up hurting the people who are the competition as opposed to the people who are closing competition down. So, we decided what are the three issues? What are the three hills we're going to die on? Because we have a lot of people at Singular SKU are very passionate, focused people, and they have a lot of social concern, but our three issues are number one, data sovereignty is number one. We feel like your data is your private self. It is yours to do with. And actually, you should be paid for the fruit of your labor. If you're creating data trails that benefit a business, they should be paying you for that. And we believe that privacy is paramount importance to any free society. And so that's number one, data sovereignty. Number two, we believe in humanity centeredness in the design of complex technical systems, that the human flourishing portion is the most important outcome. And that we used to call this human factors research, which I was very involved in. We have a lot of people in our network, our community that are human factors engineers, that human flourishing is the center of any tech innovation agenda. And that finally, number three, human rights in the global technology supply chain. And that affects not just conditions in faraway places, but toxic workplace conditions that impact technology today. And you can call us bleeding heart, but we really like the idea and believe it is true that the more varied the people are working on your hive mind, the better the outcome. And for that to happen, there needs to be a mindset shift in how we do work. And unfortunately, we haven't made that mindset shift, and people are being harmed in the workplace because it's not set up for them. And that when we try to correct it, that creates more harm on those people. So we're very keen on belonging, is what we're calling it, and psychological safety as part of that initiative for humanity centeredness in the workplace. You're going to be seeing more stuff coming out from us about psychological safety because we're about to start season 5 on our podcast, and the data is in our psychological safety and toxic workplace stuff is very popular. We have a lot of psychologists on our board and in our network and leaders who are about psychological safety, self-care. People in technology have been hurting lately. They're being forced to sign confidentiality agreements, NDAs, non-competes, and they are scared to speak out. They are being bullied, and they feel like something very big is happening that they can't even really talk about in everyday life, especially people working in the larger companies. And we're interested in being a safe place for those people and also providing an alternative. You don't have to sign up with team like Game of Thrones. There are smaller ways that you can innovate and do good in the world. And there's a plurality of opportunities for you. You may not be resting, investing, and making huge kinds of money in your Patagonia vest, but you might, and we love Patagonia, that's no knock on them, but you might find a decent living doing decent work that does good in humble ways. And you get to solve tough problems for ordinary people. And that is kind of the world. It's the job that many of us have come together and wished we want to create. Where can I go where the only thing that matters is, was a human helped here? Did we create something with zeros and ones that actually made life better for people? That's what we are interested in.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad